my grandfather always said, if you're going to dig a ditch, you dig the best damn ditch you can. Just trying to enter every day with that mentality of whatever we're going to do it really, really well. If you're going to get into the trades, pour into it because there is a long road ahead of you.
Welcome to Builders, Budgets, and Beers. I'm Reece Barnes, and I started this podcast to have real conversations about money in the building industry, the wins, the mistakes, and everything in between. I believe builders deserve to feel confident about their finances, and that starts by hearing from others who've been through it too. This industry can be slow to change, but the right stories and the right tools can make profitability feel possible. Let's get into it. Alrighty, Bryan, mics are hot. We're rolling, baby. Thanks. Thanks for jumping on the pod, dude. It's been a long time coming. I can't believe this is first on the episode.
Yeah, it was cool getting to meet you at the Contractors Coalition Summit, and I knew one day it'd happen.
One day would happen. Well, here we are. Okay, well let's kick things off here as we do, and you give the audience a little background on yourself, where you came from, how you started the business, what the business looks like today, just some of the basics.
Okay. Bryan Eberson, founder and president of Eberson Construction and Remodeling. We are based out of Flagstaff, Arizona. We do custom home new builds, remodels, and additions as a design build firm in Northern Arizona. My background, grew up in Mesa and Gilbert, Arizona. My dad owned an Ace Hardware for over 32 years. And so
it's in your blood, dude. Contractors were coming into Ace, the friendly place. And dude,
spent my summers stocking boxes and cashiering and learning what it was like to be around the trades. So spent my summers doing that. And then I left Phoenix to go down to Tucson, went to U of A, did mechanical engineering and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
When I was down there, met who is now my wife, and I spent my summers up in Flagstaff. And so when we graduated, the engineering firm that I was set to work at said, do you want to be in Phoenix or Flagstaff? I said, I'll go up north. And while I was up here in Flagstaff, right out of school, I kept doing construction on the side. My dad taught me how to remodel things, tear it apart, build it back, and learned what not to do when building a home.
Yeah.
And
I got to ask, wait. What were some, you kind of smiled. What were some of the things you learned not to do when building a home?
Just waterproofing. I mean,
waterproofing was the first one. Okay.
Turn into a nightmare.
Do they?
Yeah, because everyone says, "Oh, I want to remodel my bathroom," and you tear open the walls, and you're like, "Oh, wow, this is what's been sitting behind the walls for the last 10 years."
Oh no! What's some of the nastiest shit you've seen? Just mold?
Like what? Mold, and then termites eating like all the wood out, where there's nothing left in the wall, and it's like, I don't know how this thing's still standing.
No way.
Scary stuff. Really scary stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so you learned what not to do. Keep going.
Yeah, learn what not to do. So I was doing projects for friends, family, coworkers, and COVID hit. I got licensed as a general contractor, started to do bigger projects, and my wife and I had the conversation. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love the engineering firm I got to work for, but I want to build a contracting business. So left that engineering firm. And it was just myself and a helper. The first year, started to take on more projects, had a great business mentor take me under his wing, who was like, hey, I just want to get coffee with you once a week. He had just sold his restoration business. So sort of the same industry, but different.
Sure.
And he pushed me, was like, hire bookkeeper, hire project manager. And I'm straight out of work. And I'm like, I just left my comfortable job. I was really running this business, and now I'm hiring these folks. But it was such a blessing in disguise. We grew to 7 people at the end of year 1, grew to 14 people, started to bring in carpenters, started bringing more project management, design team. And then we are about 4 years since I left the engineering firm, and we're a full design build firm, a team of 20 that gets to do some of the coolest homes up here.
Love that. I mean, that's a good little, runway there. 4 years, 20 people, design build. I mean, and you guys are building really high end stuff.
Yeah. Blessed to have a team that wants to challenge. I'll say it that way. We get calls, and people are almost intimidated to be like, I have this really tough project. And I'm like, good. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Like, we want something that actually pushes us. So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
That's great, dude. That's great. I love it. Okay, so now that the audience has a little background on you, they know that you're obviously, definitely have the opinion, or the rather the experience to hold an opinion. I'm going to ask you the question, okay?
Yeah.
Which is, from your point of view, what is the one conversation that needs to be had more in construction that isn't being had enough?
The conversation that's not being had enough is how much opportunity there is in this industry right now, specifically for folks early on in their careers.
Okay. Which I think this is a hell of a topic, considering you've been able to do it from a guy that was early in their career. 4 years later, thriving business, dozens of employees. Why do you think that? Like, let's hear your case. Why do you think that the young people need to be looking at construction as a very high opportunity vertical or industry?
So when I was in school, the topic was always computer science, get into coding,
Totally.
live on a laptop. And it's crazy to see that in 10 short years, that totally flipped.
Yeah.
But what hasn't changed in those 10 years is the need for construction folks, whether it's high-end luxury real estate or whether it's big commercial, whether it's infrastructure and utility work. Like, there's just a need for it right now that's not being met.
Yeah.
And so I saw that technology is exponential, but physical labor isn't catching up as quickly. And so whether you want to start your own business and have a thriving a place of opportunity for folks to join, or whether you want to get out there and learn the trades and become an electrician or HVAC tech, it sounds like a buzzword, but trades are a huge opportunity right now.
Totally. Okay. Well, what are you saying, like, some of these young people that actually take advantage of it do? Like, what do you see their experience being? What is the upside? Is it money? Is it fulfillment? Is it career advancement? Like, what are you saying?
So it's funny because we're hiring a COO right now. We hire awesome project managers from across the country. I say one of the hardest positions to hire, though, is an apprentice.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with usually a kid that's straight out of high school, 18 to 20 years old, doesn't know what he wants out of life. You're interviewing him, you're walking around job sites, and it's like, hey, do you want to try this out? So us as a company, we're taking a shot on them, and they may be taking a shot on the construction industry as a whole.
Right.
I think it's a stark reality of what construction entails for younger folks. And I don't say that in a rude way. It's just different than the norm. I mean, I grew up in an era where phones were the big buzz and video games. And to go from that to, okay, it's 25 degrees outside, you're shoveling snow for the first half of the day, and the second half of the day you're framing. Like, that's just tough. And so when we bring in a good apprentice, it's like, hey, here's the runway. There is so much opportunity. We had a kid come in and was learning how to just sweep job sites, found out he knew the logistics of a job site pretty dang well. Is now sitting in a he assists the project managers. I mean, he has a career ahead of him. He's 22 years old. Yeah. And so
that's beautiful.
A lot of opportunity. Yeah.
I mean, that's what the next generation wants, right? Is they want like a little, like, they want some hope, right? Yeah. They want some hope that they can jump into something that's interesting to them, right? That they can feel is meaningful work, impactful work, and they have a shot at accelerating and climbing through it, right? Yeah. It's like, even like, since I've been an adaptive, is like this whole like, oh, AI is going to eliminate the accounting industry, right? And it's like, it hasn't. Like, could it? Maybe. I don't know, right? But you start to see like all these kids going the like historic accounting route, like those numbers start to drop, right? Like, and now it's like the people that have the 25, 30 years of experience, they're getting ready to retire. And like you like kind of hit this like skip, right? So that's like all I think young people really want is like, it's not that they're averse to working. I mean, I'm hiring 22, 23-year-olds all the time, and they come in there and bust their ass. They're great. Right. So it's like, you just got to give them a little bit of a hope here. When you say it's like hard, or it's like kind of like an eye-opening situation for them, you mentioned like the ruggedness, I guess, of construction, especially in Flagstaff, Arizona, right? Where it's mountainous region, harsh elements, big seasons, right? But how does this next generation get prepared for it? Or maybe like, what could you share with them that they would be like, okay, it might be tough or different than me being on my couch in my iPad building apps with AI, but this is why I should do this. Give them your little pitch. Why should they do it? Or like, I guess, what could they prepare for to have more meaning in the industry?
Prepare for basically earning your stripes a little bit, but
Okay.
not fearing that your whole career is going to be stuck outside. Like, I mean, we are diving deep into AI. There
Yeah.
is such a huge opportunity for it in construction, but the difference is a coder coming into construction is different than a guy in construction saying we can use AI. So
Right.
earn your stripes, understand what building a home entails, what working in the trades entails, and then bring technology into it. The people that are thriving in our business are the ones that are adopting not just AI, but our project management software.
Totally.
Yeah, it's kind of like you said, a skip button. You can do things easier, faster with technology, especially if you know how it's getting applied. So
I think that's like a winning point, because that's what we're even seeing. Just like, obviously we sell software, right? So we're talking to contractors literally daily all over the country. And the people that are applying AI in the most meaningful way, which is now becoming a buzz phrase, right? Applying AI in a meaningful way. But the ones that are truly doing it are the ones that do understand what does it take to build something, right? And it's typically someone that's going to be in like, late 20s, early mid 30s, not scared of AI. They're definitely like well versed in other software. They probably took that software over as they were in the construction company or whatever, and then they can start applying it. That's like a really big component. It's like, just learn, what does it actually mean to frame. If you want to go into accounting, I would actually just did a podcast on this the other week. If you want to go into accounting at a construction company and you feel like you don't have the construction team getting bought in, one of the best ways to do that is to go spend time with the people in the field. It's like, if you had one day a month that the controller or the CFO or the bookkeeper, whatever the title is, goes out into the field and sweeps for the project managers, and they're there listening, talking, hearing, seeing material getting dropped off, seeing the project manager go through and check it, right? Seeing what's going through their heads. Then it's like, now you have this appreciation. You've earned your stripes, as your phrase.
yeah.
And you can start like applying more value.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true.
Totally. Okay, cool. Well, and the other side of this, so and your stance on this is like the opportunity in construction today is, like, you mentioned a lot about the trades, right? Earning your stripes. You talk about like 25 degrees in Flagstaff, framing a house. But like, do you think that there's still a need and an opportunity from a business side, or do you firmly believe that like the opportunity lives in the trade, the skill, the actual execution, or the operations of construction?
It's both. I
Okay.
mean, we are always looking for the best trade partners.
Mhm.
I know that the best trade partners do two things really, really well. They communicate, which is a business owner's skill set,
Mhm.
and then they have great crews. So people that can perform the work and people that can let you know what's actually happening. And so
Mhm.
I think that the opportunity to run a business 100% is there.
Mhm.
You do need to understand what you're running, though, and I think that's just being in the field, bringing in great people that want to learn, want to do really, really quality work, care about the work a ton, and then you
Yep.
can lead them correctly. So I think it's twofold. Get in when you're younger, learn the trades, and if the opportunity to start your own business is there, run with it.
Totally. Two things. First, have you thought about like doing an intern program? I know you're talking about hiring like young people, but the intern program. And then the second piece, do you think that it's most advantageous for people to work for subs, generals, just getting involved to any degree? Like, do you have an opinion on that? So the first, have you thought about doing an intern program? Second, where should people start?
Yeah, we have a college here. It's actually a D1 college, NAU, and they have a construction management program. We've had a couple of interns. Basically, every single summer we've had interns through them.
Great.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it's awesome. It's a huge blessing, and they get real hands-on experience. To answer your question, should people get into the specific trades or in the general contracting world? I think that they're really different in the fact that our job is project management.
Mhm.
It is communication, schedules, budgets, that, and then knowing enough with every single trade to be dangerous. So we are organizing 50 other companies to build one house.
Correct.
That is a different skill set than being an electrician and understanding the way that electricity flows through a house, the way that it comes in from the street. So I think it's kind of whatever gets you excited.
Mhm.
Being in a specific trade might pigeonhole you a little bit, but you're going to be around other trades.
Yeah.
You're going to learn the construction industry as a whole. I think that if you want to go more business owner route, opportunity lies in the specific trades.
Mhm.
As a general, we are constantly trying to find great companies, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
It's difficult for old companies to phase out and new companies to phase in.
Yeah. Totally. Are you seeing like, and you're obviously up in like the northern Arizona territory? I guess no. Aren't you guys starting to do stuff in Scottsdale and Phoenix, or no?
No, we stay out of Phoenix, but we'll go to Sedona.
Okay.
We have some projects coming up down there, and so we stay northern Arizona.
Okay. Okay. Well, and where I was going to go with that is like, are you seeing that like the transfer of these businesses with like the trades from one generation to another? Are you seeing that as like sale, or are you seeing that as like the company folds, no one in the end or the area does that type of work anymore? There's your opportunity. What are you seeing?
I wish it were more sale opportunity. I don't know if in the trades people are building their business with that mentality.
Correct. Yeah.
So they get to the end of their career and they're like, okay, I built this business where I'm turning down jobs every single day, but no one knows how to run it except for me.
Yeah.
And it's just with the, I don't know, it's unfortunate, but a lot of people just close up their doors, and there's opportunity in working for someone like that, and kind of being upfront saying, hey, I want to learn everything you're doing and I would love to take this over one day. And actually getting their hands on experience.
Yeah.
But then on the outside looking in, it's like, okay, I can start my own thing. It's a lot more work to do ground up
Yeah.
business building.
Totally, totally. Well, and I think that's like, I mean, you mentioned like the opportunity coming into the trades, right? In the industry and the people that, 30 year or younger, right? There's like a
Yeah.
huge opportunity here. It's even like, it's sure like getting involved in the trades is one thing, right? And like starting your path there. But the other side is like a part of the big opportunity is building a business that you can sell. And
Yeah.
like that could be like the big missing link for the last 40 years of business building was like, wasn't it like Reagan that was like, get out and like build a company instead of like all these like layoffs and people couldn't find work and stuff like that. I think,
Yeah.
am I blending Reagan and JFK where it's like, ask not what you can do for your country, but ask whatever it is. I might be going down a dead path there. But my point is like the opportunities to build an actual business that you can sell. And I think that's one of the things that's tough. Like if I'm a young person, I'm wanting to go in, it's okay. I got to earn my stripes. I got a college degree. Most of them do. Right. And then they're like, then I got to go get chewed out by 60-year-old Frank, who's terrible at like communicating. Right. And like, I got to get my ass kicked by this guy. You know what I mean? So it's like part of the opportunity is like, okay, yeah, maybe you have to get chewed on by Frank for a couple years. But then after that, the goal is to build something that you could actually sell that you could impact in like a localized community.
Yeah. And it's so rare to do that in the trades now that you are so valuable if you do it correctly. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the biggest names, Tommy Mello, A1 Garage,
Yeah.
Cam Bowden of the pest control company down in Phoenix, their multiplier numbers are insane. And it's like they built a business the correct way.
Yeah.
Doing it in the trades happens to be where there's a ton of opportunity. So, I mean, that's retirement for most folks. Invest into your business, invest into yourself, become a really good leader, grow your business the right way, and there's your retirement.
Have you dug into those guys quite a bit? It sounds like you might have. Like the
Yeah.
A1 Garage and go ahead.
Yeah, I'm super interested in folks that have done it well. Same industry, different building technique, but yeah, it's really cool to hear how they did it and what they've done.
Okay. Well, like what are some of the like the low hanging pieces that you've taken away from those guys? And like what they've done, like air quote, built the business the right way.
Invest in your people.
Okay. Well, and that's again broad. Like, what does that mean? Like, what are some of the tactics? Like, what are some of the things that you've heard?
The things that I really focus on is making sure that you have A players. So people that come in that see the big vision and you're communicating that vision to them
Hmm.
and they can be a part of that growth. And so, like I mentioned earlier, giving them that pathway of, hey, sky's the limit for you,
Hmm.
giving them resources that they need to actually be successful and making sure that they know this isn't just a job, this is a career path.
Hmm.
Giving them good systems, things that they can actually be organized in their day to day work. I didn't expect that to be such a big piece of it, but from outside looking in, it's like, okay, you have a business, it's just, biggest margin possible. People are there to do work. And it's like, no, we're not a family, we're a team, but this team is what makes the magic happen. And so whenever I'm talking to potential clients, it's like, hey, yes, you are hiring Eberson Construction, but the team behind me, they're the ones that are going to make all this beautiful work happen. So I would say invest into your people,
Yeah.
give them a good road to actually grow their career, and then give them what they need to be successful through the business.
Totally. Okay. Well, and that's beautiful. And it's like you even mentioned your team here, and I love that you mentioned that it's not a family, it's a team, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people like they try and build this like big cozy, oh, we could do no wrong, and like I think at the end of the day, like we're here to execute and like make
Yeah.
money and like be successful and deliver a great product, right? And build a reputation, all those things.
Yeah.
What are some of the easiest things that you've applied to help get your team over that hump? You're 4 years into this thing. I'm sure that your first SOP that you built was incredible. But my point is, like, what are some of the things that you've learned that like you've applied that are like, yes, training the team, yes, getting them the resources, yes, doing it. What are some of those things that you've done?
So we invested into EOS and we now run our business on that. It's a way for us to have a good accountability chart. Everyone knows what they're responsible for, who reports to them, and who truly owns what step of the process. And then it's allowed us to push that through the whole company and say we have a standardized way of doing things. EOS was a huge, huge investment and
I've heard
well
that.
worth it.
I've
Yeah,
heard that.
it was game changing for us.
When did you start EOS? How long into your journey were you? A year, 2 years?
We are just over a year mark, almost a year and a half. So about 2.5 years. And I don't advise to say like it's a time thing. I think it's a team size thing and an intention thing.
Sure.
So I met our implementer from EOS 3, 4 years ago.
Okay.
And it was when I just started my business. And he was really respectful about like, oh, okay, awesome. You're growing this business. You've done a lot in 1 year. Um, he stayed up with me about where the business was going. And he said, I intentionally stayed up with you and another builder in Flagstaff who were both building their businesses. And he said, every time I met with you, something new and exciting was happening. And he said, you just had that hunger for growth. And so we just got to the point where I reached out to him and I said, hey, we are on a hot streak. Like, I want this to keep going. I want to do it the right way, though. And he said, all right, let's do this. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that point in business when you realize I have a team. I need to make sure that everyone's doing a really, really good job, and I want to give them the tools that they need.
Totally. Totally. I love it. I mean, I've heard a lot of really good things about EOS, and there's a lot of really solid like coaching,
Yeah,
business consulting programs out there. And
yeah,
I think the one piece that you hit on is it runs true for all of them, whether it's EOS or one of the others, right? Is the intentionality. Like, and
yeah.
I'd be curious to know how much intention was on your team to apply it, because I imagine there was some like resistance or maybe even like some, concern. What is all of this stuff? Right. But I think the intention is the biggest piece because you can pay for literally whatever. I tell my team this all the time, right? If like sales was so easy and it was just like, oh, you have this problem, I have a solution, just buy my solution, right? No one would have any problems, right? There's
Yeah.
everything's out there, right? But it's always about the intention. Where you at in your business? Like, what was the inflection point? You mentioned you had employees, but like, was there anything in particular that just like really kind of set you off the edge? I know you keep saying like resources and this, that, but was there a moment, like a break in the business where you were like, I can't keep doing this anymore. I have to do something. Was there a memory or a story about that?
I was having a conversation with our uh, controller at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of those times of my life where I realized how much I had to be doing. And it wasn't, just for other people, but it was for the business in itself. And I didn't want to keep rolling that way. And
Okay.
it was kind of that I want to empower the team. I want there to be only people that want that empowerment. What can I do to make this happen? And so, I was doing everything from project management, would randomly have my bags on in the field, running through invoicing, talking to all prospective clients. And it's like, I need to get my hands out of something because I'm way too involved in everything.
Okay, so it was that realization moment where you're like, dude, this entire business revolves around me. Like if I step
and we had
out,
15
it's done.
people at that point. It's like, why? Like,
Yeah. Okay, well, so dig into that. Was it like a lack of processes, lack of direction, vision, like understanding how to do their job? Like, how do you have 15 people and you're still bags on and then putting together a draw? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, how does that happen?
It happens by not having your systems in order.
Yeah. Okay.
So with adaptive, you guys, have someone approves, it goes on to the next approval, you do it, person signs the lien release, payment gets made. For us, it was like, okay, we start a project and then people pay us and then we finish the project. And it's like, okay, what happens all the in-between steps? And so it was not fun to be in that position, but it was necessary for me to be able to hold every position in the company at some point to understand how to run it correctly, I think.
Okay. And EOS brought you that clarity.
For sure. It also made sure that I was focusing on hiring people that are better than me at everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. That's great. Now, I think to like tie this back, how do you see your year and a half into EOS, right? 4 years into the business. Like, how do you see that decision of realizing the importance of systems and processes and delegation and hiring, right? All these things. How do you see that impacting the next 4 years, call it, at Eberson? Do you see that investment laying the ground for you to start opening up opportunity for the people that should be focusing on it?
Yeah, the biggest thing with EOS is setting your vision straight about where you want the business to be in 1 quarter, 1 year, 3 year, 10 years from now.
Okay.
And going through that practice over and over and over and still continually refining it is super important. What it did is it laid out the roadmap for where we need to be in 90 days from now in order to hit the 1 year goal, in order to hit our 3 year goal. So it wouldn't have been that clear to me had I not gone through a structured system like EOS, I don't believe, because my role is visionary. I can think of 100 business ideas before noon.
Yeah.
And to keep straight on the path of this is what Eberson Construction does, this is what we do better than anyone else, focus on that and stay true to what you want to do in order to hit that 10-year goal. That's what it really did for me. So I feel way more confident knowing where we're going to be in a few years from now that we've had the time to think through it.
Okay. Are you comfortable sharing where you want to be?
Yeah.
Let's rip it. All right. What's the 3 and 10 year mark? What is it?
So in 3 years from now, we'll 3x revenue wise.
Okay.
Our team will grow about another 50%.
Okay.
And so that's revenue, personnel. And then the goal for me personally is really to be focused 4 days out of the week on Eberson Construction, 1 day out of the week on our investment opportunities and our development opportunities.
Beautiful.
And to be undeniably the best custom home builder in Northern Arizona. Undeniably.
Beautiful. The logo, the business. Dude, and if I'm someone under the age of 30 or even 35, so that I fit in this group, I would be looking at Eberson Construction. I think these conversations are important. And I was going to make a joke like, yeah, of course I'd be looking at Eberson, the best custom home builder in Northern Arizona. But seriously, like I think when people, if there's, this audience out there listening who's like, damn, like I do want to get into construction. These are the types of contractors and these are the types of professionals that are entering the space today, right? I kind of made a comment about this where it's like the guys 40 years ago that are going to retire at 60, 65 with nothing to sell. Right. They built this machine that's been creating living money for them. Right. And like now when they're getting ready to pull the plug on it, they don't have anything to sell. It's like, but the next generation, the next wave is looking at this. What is a part of being the best custom home builder in Northern Arizona? Like you can enter a process of quality, of consistency, of expectation setting, of vision, of areas that you can impact the business. And it's not just signing up with anyone who does tile to go learn tile, like it's about kind of like understanding like, okay, if I'm talking to this person, like what can I learn from them? Is this someone I can learn from? And this sounds like something that is going to be building that opportunity.
Yeah, thanks. It's been fun from the beginning. This logo was the next generation of building. Like that's on our office front. It's on our shirts, and it's so much fun to be learning from these older guys too, because there is no way that I would be where I'm at without some older folks still having that abundance mindset of
totally.
I reach out to them and say, hey, can I get coffee with you? You've built a heck of a business. I'd love to learn how you got your success. And them being like, okay, let's do it. And there's some great guys in town that open up their minds to me. And, I take everything with a grain of salt and apply it to how it would work great in our business. There's other folks that don't have that same mentality where it's like, hey, I've been there, done that. I'm good. Okay, well, you're not the type of person I want to be working with anyways. I want to be working with people that are abundance mindset, that want to collaborate and that want to continue building some awesome homes in Flagstaff, because there's too many projects for the amount of builders. And
totally.
Yes, it's a great problem to have. But at the end of the day, whatever we're doing, we're still going to kick ass in it. We're going to do the best home that we can possibly build. We're going to give clients a good experience. And I think that's the key with the next generation of building is we focus so hard on the client experience. We want people to enjoy building a home, even though they live 2.5 hours away in Phoenix.
Totally. Dude, I love it. I mean, a lot of good bits in here. Do you have anything else you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up here? Any final sign off, any last words of wisdom? I'm putting you on the spot here. I know I am.
Yeah. We are in a super interesting time of humanity, we'll call it, from a global view. And right now is the time to invest in yourself, invest in the people around you, and build something that is worth continuing on in a legacy manner. My grandfather always said, if you're going to dig a ditch, you dig the best damn ditch you can. Yeah. And so just trying to enter every day with that mentality of whatever we're going to do it really, really well. And so if you're going to get into the trades, pour into it, because there is a long road ahead of you. Yeah.
No, I love it, dude. I love it. Well, Bryan, I appreciate you spending time jumping on the pod here. As I say to most, I think these guests are just incredible. You're a wealth of knowledge, dude. You're a wealth of knowledge, and we need more of your perspective in the industry, because I totally agree with you. The opportunity is rich. This isn't the old I don't want to be a contractor, I don't want to be blue collar mentality anymore. It's like there's a lot of really impressive people making up the construction industry, and you're one of them. So thanks for jumping on the pod, dude, and sharing a little bit about your perspective.
Thanks, Reece. I appreciate it a lot. It's been a good time.
You bet, dude. We'll chat soon.